Hi class, this is Mrs. Newmiller, and today I thought I'd show you a little more about some of the weather we've been learning about in class, specifically extreme hailstorms. So most of us have lived in Utah our whole lives, where we don't get hurricanes or tornadoes or massive hailstorms. But right now I'm in Texas, so I thought I'd show you a little bit about some of the weather that they have here. For those of you that have lived in Utah your whole life, it is unlikely that you've ever seen what's called golf ball-sized hail. Here in North Dallas, however, hailstorms like these are actually pretty common and occur almost every spring, which is known as storm season, and can result in thousands of dollars worth of damage to both home and property. Here's a little video I'll show you so you can experience that for yourself. So how do hailstones the size of golf balls, or even softballs at times, form? We've discussed in class how high and low pressure bodies of air can interact to create storms, and this image shows the result of that. With hail, the clashing of these two fronts creates a convecting supercell that causes warmer air to rise and cooler air to sink. When bits of water get trapped in that cycle, they go up and they freeze, and they add a layer of ice to these raindrops, and then they sink back down because they're heavy, and then the warm air carries them back up and they add more ice. So the longer they do that, the bigger the size of the hailstones. When those large hailstones finally fell out of the sky, these are a few of the results.
Victims of last night's hailstorms are facing some potentially expensive repairs. Good evening, I'm Brandon Todd.
And I'm Natalie Solis. Most people spent the day getting what they could repaired and assessing more extensive damage. James Rose is first on Fox 4 News from Highland Village. James.
Hey, Natalie, not even first responders could get away from the hail. I'm told several of their vehicles, personal vehicles, and at least 2 other chief cars were damaged in this storm. And take a look at this. You can see some folks out here working on the roof right now. This was a very widespread storm. Take a look, pan over here to the right, Phil. You can see how this metal roof here at the fire station, that took a beating as well. Now, this was so widespread, it went all the way across this corridor south and west of Louisville Lake. Dozens of vehicles in this part of Bartonville took a severe beating last night. The strip mall off FM 407 had more than 24 vehicles damaged, smashing out skylights, front and rear windshields. Mobile repair crews were already on the scene, replacing cracked and busted out windshields. The business owner says 9 of his employees' vehicles had the windows smashed out, and he is thankful no one was injured.
I mean, it sounded like machine gun fire, but just nonstop, tennis ball to racquetball-sized hail coming down for 15 minutes. Right now, we're just focusing on getting everybody's vehicles up and running to where at least they're safe to drive. We're replacing all the glass and trying to get that taken care of today.
Now, cars weren't the only things damaged in the overnight storm. As the tennis and racquetball-sized hail swept through the area, it lasted nearly 15 minutes, in many cases doing severe damage to rooftops and breaking out nearly every skylight in the area. Now, the owner of that store we talked to, Corey McKenna, is paying to replace all of the front and rear windshields of all of his employees who's had their stuff damaged overnight. As you can see, there's still just an unbelievable number of roofers out inspecting roofs in this area, and many of them, as they tell me, you can't see the damage here from the street, but when you get up on the roof, you can. And if you even think that you may have some damage, you should call an expert to check your roof, because they say this was so severe, if your home's not leaking now, it may be in the very near future.
Hailstorms are truly amazing weather phenomenons that can also be extremely dangerous. The impact of these storms can be catastrophic, but they're also pretty cool to watch. Hopefully you enjoyed this virtual trip to Texas and experience of a major hailstorm.